Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Croatia. Now, Serbia will be coming to Croatia as a unified nation of sorts. And also we took Dorazo, which in turn we've released a new subject, Albania. Yes, Albania is a subject to Croatia, which will one day join us as well, though not currently integrating them right now. And this other big plan that I have in mind is that once Serbia has joined Croatia, Ohrid and Skopje will be released. This is considered one of Bulgaria's core provinces. Maybe Korea appears a new country. There's plenty of time because, you know, reason for that is, well, releasing Bulgaria as a subject for starters, and we'll be using these favors from the Ottomans each of these months to give away bit by bit of Bulgarian territory to our future new subject of Bulgaria. It's a pretty sizable subject we'll have here. So basically you'll get Yugoslavia and Bulgaria together. And plus Albania too, but it will soon join Croatia. And then Bulgaria will take a bit longer for them to join. And all of it will be one. And then I will use this to fulfill the mission of expel the Italians, which will give us the permanent claim on the entire Balkans region. Yes, I say entire, as it says. All of this marked in blue. Including Crete, too. And all that. It's not necessarily going to be a Yugoslav federation of sorts, as we are still a kingdom with a unique government that we've basically turned into, as it involves statists and monarchists, which I've been very hesitant on that, but it's for the stability cost modifier, because you know, gotta keep the unity here. And I'm sure that we'll probably go for this next time when the next reform comes, and by the end of this century we'll have to decide whether or not should we remain a kingdom or become a republic. Being theocratic is out of the question for me. But I think it's going to have to depend on it. So don't worry about that right now. Let's just live in peace for the most part. And the land force limit has increased a bit, so you know what? Let's make it 25 strong by introducing a little more cavalry. So that is a Croatian specialty. And when Serbia is fully integrated, then we'll create a second army. Even though it's going to be through them, since, you know, they're going to be in it anyhow. So as you were, return to Slavonia. Right now on this trade power, it's 29%. You know, we could have more, but... Pathetic. Now it's time to strike? What do you mean by that? Time to strike what? We can't claim it. Maybe just do it while they're weak, so to speak. But the best option is to tell the Polish to... Again, we're not rivals with them yet. But we will be, should, Oh yeah, I forgot. Venice is no longer a valid rival nor enemy. But now we started to see Bohemia as an enemy. But you know what? Austria it is. Their army is slightly weaker than ours, and their navy is inferior. So we're gonna start doing that right now, or appears to be. And we better take advantage of this while we can. to build a spy network. Don't you worry, Slovenia. You're gonna be coming to Croatia. I guess that's our next potential conflict then. Hey, over here. What are you doing? Milan. Light of potential ally. Age of Conotarians. Herald from the Knights of Malta. The wars that ravaged Italy saw the great increase in Conotari generals selling their services of their mercenary armies. As the conflict evolved into a broader European struggle, these Conotari become less relevant to the military strategies of great powers. The era of private armies in Italy is coming to an end. No more Italian wars then. Even though we never used mercenaries. Listen, I know your relations with Austria is good and all, but I do not like the fact that you are with them. Yes, they have a claim against you, and irritated over such claims. And I want to change that. With no diplomats to send right now, but we'll find a way. White peace because Austria and Scotland have never engaged. They have not fought each other in anger. Poland, Poland, Poland. Guess it's due to the attitude between me and Austria as of late. And we have improved relations with you so much, but for some reason you desire Albanian territories. Yeah, that's very strange of you. Come here, quickly. We're gonna salvage this. Ignore them. Listen, if we can tell it break an alliance. Again, your issue with me is, yeah, Croatia allied with Polish realm, allied Croatian realm. Yeah, let's do that right now. There we go. Now we have an understanding. See? Alliance gone. Even though this would create a truce between them, that if we ever fight against Austria, Poland won't be there. But yet they fear that it would destabilize for breaking the said truce. Now, what does Austria think of Poland now? They're still friends no matter what because of good relations, but I could care less. Just don't want anywhere near them. And in a future conflict, even if we bring the Ottomans along, England won't be there because, well, they're in the middle of a war still. Little nations won't hurt. Bohemia will not be there because they don't like Austria. Which, by the way, who's the HRE Emperor? After all this time, it's still Bohemia. That's why. allied with Scotland. Who's winning the war? England is. In fact, they fully occupied it. But it's not over yet. But do not underestimate the Austrians, because of the morale of armies. But bringing the Ottomans here, good. In the meantime, get back currying favors with them, because we're going to try to build it up for Bulgaria. And plus, Poland has claims against Austria. The Hungarian areas. Correct? Do you have any at all? Yes. Yes, you do. But Albania for whatever reason between us. But hope we can ease that tension sooner or later. Back in the meantime, start drilling again. Trying to get back up. Plus, we have new cavalry regiments. And try to get up to 20%. So we can have this, which will be very, very good. Yeah, well, we're rivals now, so. Same to you, buddy. So all we need is a border with Venice, but through that, get Slovenia. Or what the territory is then called, Carniola. And those Protestants here, they haven't caused trouble. Thinking about it, because it will be beneficial to get more ideas. Administrative technology cost reduction, which is something that we need badly. So I think it would be best to do that. Let's finish up the humanist ideas. And with that, we'll knock new policy, the Preparation Act. We'll get this in no time. Also, if you get 2 more of these, you'll get administrative technology costs. Completing the last 3, then we have infantry combat ability, and once it's complete, prestige decay lowered, which isn't really the best ambition for completing all Croatian ideas, but just take what you can get. You've been playing this country for long, and all that. And reduced administrative technology costs, meaning it's easier to get this now, even though it's behind the time now. And we're quite far away from this next one, where musketeers will become a common sight on a battlefield. So here's your 3 military policies. So Land Preparation Act, which scholarly learning tells us that war is inevitable, but can also help us understand when it is likely to break out so that we may be prepared for it. So, less land attrition when fighting in areas of foreign lands, and less reduction of monthly war exhaustion. So there you have it. And in future, you could select either of the two when diplomatic, but we'll take both, honestly. Very beneficial, because that adds to this country's character. As we have a habit of getting attrition. Hey, is taking this castle down help us get some of that money back if you were to destroy it, or no? Because I definitely want to build one here in Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's basically moving castles then. Do it. Take us 2 years. And we're going to take out one, as we're in relative peace now. No refunds. So we're just opening the coast a bit while we build one in the mountains. So when the enemy forces come up here, big mistake in our sense of our own mode of warfare. Split here. What makes it valuable? Like, is it good for as far as sailors concerned, or naval force limit? Difference maker. Just looking at all buildings that aren't built yet in certain areas. If you can afford it. Of course. Istra would be an important place to build a marketplace there. But we've already decided there's going to be a castle here to be built. Knowing that we're not expected to fight a war soon. Oh, just remembered. Train first. If we can, Gords will be next. And if we still have time, Trist. And then you would unite all of Carniola, which is part of this other mission. Conquer Carniola. Carniola has come to be dominated by powerful Habsburg dynasty. We must tread carefully around our imperial neighbor and strike only when the time is right. So we have to control this. Basically, our own Slovenia. And what's our reward? Army tradition. A higher army tradition means better performance for the Croatian military as a whole. The only difference is Serbia won't be there to assist us, but Albania might. And we'll have to inherit their army and navy. Here's your second army. Or it'll be called first army, but names are strange. See that. Plus, inheriting, we also be inheriting this fort here, even though we already have Belgrade, and this has woods, not really suited for defending. Kosovo has highlands, so I would probably build a fort there, but there's mountains. What's the difference? Dice roll attackers -2, highlands -1. It's that gold, man. We're about to get it, and this would further finance what we're going to be getting. Paid all foreign debt to Tunis. You two friends? Yes. Made friends with Tunis. I fear that the next likely war will be against the Mamluks. I guess they found an ally that's not quite what I had imagined, unless they've been through hell in the last one. Shame. From Genoa. What's your issue? Oh, you don't like the Papal States. Intriguing. But you're friends of other... Well, you are also friends of Tuscany. Okay. Genoa sounds like a pretty suitable ally right now. I mean, there's room for alliances. Well, yeah. And we'll be sure to curry favors with you soon. Once we're done building that spy network, because I'm going to need your help on this. So, we're abandoning our old friend, the Milanese. Because they're going to remain rivals with these two, so I'm sorry. Tuscany and Genoa it is, then. Speaking of favors. So in a future conflict, Tuscany won't be there because of high war exhaustion, though they were fully occupied at one point. And Genoa, we gotta start trusting each other. We fought each other once, did we? Willing to trust somewhat. Well, we'll work on it. Now, Gortz is another. And if we can get up to 30, one more for here. Regarding development, not as good. That would cause coalition if you try to take that territory. You could pillage it. That would be grand. Poland won't be there to save them. And neither will Poland come in to intervene. You already said the same words. England won't be there. Though they might, if we bring the Ottomans along. Even if I were to give them that, it's not enough. Just wait for the truce to expire, which, how long is it? Understandable. It's probably going to be 1539 or 1540 is when I'll declare war against Austria. And at the same time build up favors with Genoa. Once enemies, now potential good ally on the Italian side. Valentin Levac and the Slovene people. Valentin Levac is a powerful landowner and political influencer among our Slovene subjects. We had a long working relationship with him. He's always been quick when to know that the state needs and what perhaps could do for him in return. His name is often mentioned when discussing candidates for the Council of State. While he would in many ways be a good fit for such a position, would undoubtedly also greatly increase the influence of the already powerful man and his clients. A statesman. Diplomatic reputation. Faster annexation. Or until 10 years for the whole development and tax modifier. I'll take that prestige hit. Valentin Levac will be a welcome addition to the cabinet. So that means it's for that one, but cheaper. Well, once he's done with the spy network construction, we're gonna replace him. If we can get one more claim with this, then we'll know. We do need talent. Diplomatic reputation, and annex them faster. To get Serbia a little faster to inherit its military. But we'll definitely win on the naval front. When England comes in, it'll be a challenge at sea. Grand banquets. Yeah, let's have another diplomat. Full humanist and innovativeness. This is that. And I really want to get the next set of ideas as quickly as possible, even though it'll take by the later this century, knowing that Kosovo Gold there is going to be good for us, but it's also a bit problematic at times. Base production of 3, there's a little chance of that mine depleting each year. Too far to think about that. Favors. Curry favors with Genoa. Getting to help us out. As I've stated before on the previous episode, the most powerful weapon of Croatia is diplomacy. Oh my goodness. No. So they're going to be disloyal for a while. And disloyal means res tax reduction. They'll come back up each month, so... You know those Protestants here, right? Well, that's actually more influence, but hey, it helps a little. I mean, that's one. For that missionary, in case we need to convert if Protestantism becomes a real troublesome issue. Eek. You still have yet to use this for whatever reason. Advisor costs that reduction even more. We do like money, and if this is going to get the clergy back on our side, well, I think we could give them that privilege. But the problem is stability cost modifier, even though I never really bother with it as much as I'm more focused on this sort of thing. But, or just wait for it naturally. That's the one. That's the one I was talking about. Usually happens when you have another favor around here, but... Go for that. We ought to revoke that at a later time, but... This is just to get them to be loyal to us quickly. No royal marriage with Austria. Good. Now there's an understanding. Even though you're still gonna have a view of friendly relations with Austria. Oh, broke royal marriage. Poland broke it. Well, when the truce expires, you will most definitely help us. Good! I mean, I knew England is going to be there, but good. Now we need to get Genoa on board. Tuscany won't be there because of war exhaustion, which is understandable. Poland is the big one because of Lithuania, Moldavia, and all that. To have two fronts to fight, and the addition of the Ottoman forces, which they will most definitely be there, we can definitely defeat the Austrians en masse. And man, I kind of feel a little guilty for Hungary, though. Maybe we should also, in the future peace negotiations, give some of that land back to the Hungarians. If you got enough of diplomatic power, that is. The Council of Trent. Oh, this is a historic event. And Pope has invited us to attend the Council of Trent to debate the required reforms to remedy the corruption and other afflictions of the Church. The Council will discuss what constitutes the Protestant heresy and consider the definition of church teachings in the areas of Scripture and tradition, original sin, justification, sacraments, and Eucharist, in the Holy Mass, and the veneration of saints. It will also try to answer Protestant disputes by considering curbs on practices which have become the stain on the Church's reputation. For instance, the frequent absentee of bishops and various worldly excesses of clergy. We must deliberate on a position. Croatia may now choose a position on the Council of Trent. So, despite the fact that we're rivals, but we have something in common here. And I like how we meet over here. So again, the Papal State tells us that the exact news of this. So, the successes of Protestant movement can no longer go unchallenged. His Holiness has tasked a commission of cardinals with addressing the challenges posed by it. While the Catholic faith itself must not be compromised, His Holiness and most cardinals are willing to admit that some Protestant complaints are valid. For instance, there can be no dispute that the frequent absenteeism with bishops and the worldly excesses of clergy are a stain on the Church's reputation. Therefore, the Council will be convened in Trent and to discuss how best to reform the Church and meet the challenge of the reformers to begin the process of counter-reformation. So the Papal State will have tendencies, spending money, lower corruption. The invitation is sent to all Catholic countries, Croatia included. It starts the Council of Trent. Here it is. Never seen this feature before. Which again, I don't play Catholic countries very much. And even if I did, I often turn Protestant, like Holland one time. Harsh or councilary? Nobody's supporting right now. As I am not the papal controller, obviously. But since we have a humanist policy in Croatia, but I would be councilary, but it depends on what the others say. Willing to discuss this further. And I'm sure some dogmatic Catholics will be like, what is there to discuss? Vote, Croatia, vote! Maybe we can use this. I mean, forget about the money and stabilization. This will be useful because of Kosovo's gold mine and the absence of economic ideas. So, what do you say? Two harsh, two cardinals, others be consulary. Bologna, Castile. Oh yes, it's the cardinals of the country. I don't think Croatia has one. Oh, we do. It's in Zagreb. Oh, I have not paid attention, clearly. And the Crusades are encouraging to attack Tunis. I wouldn't do that, because the Ottomans are my friend, and I am willing to help out my friend, even if it means defeating you in battle. I still got a bone to pick with you, but when it comes to the Protestant issue, it's starting to spread like wildfire over there, but it's even reached Croatian borders, but it's not really an issue yet. They're a minority. Even when we expand into Slovenia, it's still considered a minority. Venice has gone for a harsh stance. Who else? The Landshut says harsh, so it's tied. Sure, we'll hear from Bohemia soon. The Holy Roman Emperor. Genoa says harsh. Our new friend. Conqueror. Well, this'll do. And the humanist policy that furthers lowering the separatism idea. Burgundy says harsh. Trent says councillary. Even though I only get one vote, so. France. They call for harsh, but. So again, if you to do that, proving relations would be up for some Protestant countries for potential future allies. But resistance to Reformation, opinion of heretics would be lowered, which doesn't surprise me. We don't think of the HRE countries within it very much, so I'd probably go for harsh. I was thinking councillary, but clearly it looks like they're going for harsh measures, so I want to know who's the other heretics other than Orthodox countries. England, looking at you. Protestant Scots and Irish. Is the world gone mad or something? And Poland will be loyal Catholic, so we will go for harsh. We think of the best interest of our allies and such, so we shall go for them. So I vote for harsh. Harsh stance taken. Was thinking councillary because that's part of our humanistic character of the nation, but no, we have to go for it. Sicily. Two Sicilies say councillary. Who's the papal controller? Castile. And yet you yourself say we should be councillary. But most of us Catholics say no, we should not be councillary, we should be harsh against them. Check back in a moment. Oh, one last claim to fabricate. Trist. That's it. Got what we wanted. Return. Now, in a future conflict against Austria, I mean, the Ottomans will support, Poland will be there. All we need is to get Genoa on board and have a higher diplomatic reputation, despite the attitude towards enemies, and they don't trust us enough. You'll soon learn to trust us. And Tuscany won't be there. The Ottomans definitely will. Taking out the English fleet would be a challenge. They may not have much of an army, but They sure as heck got a navy. And if we wish, you know, get France allied with us. They don't like Austria. Neither do England. Maybe we have something in common. So we shall try to improve relations with France, a former enemy, which later earned the respect from us. %, getting closer. Bohemia's gone for a harsh stance. That's the big difference. There we go. Austria's gone harsh. Poland, how about you? Where are you? You got any cardinals, Poland? Yeah. Castle in Zagumia will be finished. So we have mountains to defend. Should the invader ever enter into Bosnia and get this fort, which will be the biggest mistake of their lives. Because we will defend the mountains very well. We know the country. In the meantime... what does it need more of, is the real question. Istra, I remember. More barracks or more manpower? So it's in these areas. Every little bit helps. Especially as we will soon acquire all of Serbia. In fact, what's the development of Serbia? Since we're getting closer. Not the best, but it'll do. But have you got any buildings? None? Castle? None? None. Chimney. Well, there's one workshop. Okay. But that's for Bulgarian coming in the future. That reminds me. You did your job. Now get the Slovene. The statesman. Diplomatic reputation up, so we'll get it a little earlier than expected. 1539. Truce expires 1539. Councilary stance. Lasts until all concessions have been taken or a few decades have passed. Countries that are neutral have some resistance, but I've already decided we should go harsh because it has its benefits. And a ruler cannot change the mind. I see. We just want this council over with. Here's another way to get Genoa into this war. Another way. Once we get the 10 favors, and then a little more, tell them to prepare for war then. I don't know if it'll be enough, but it'll do. So do not declare the war until August of 1539. Remember the goal. Unify all that culture. Haven't reached this splendor yet, but we're gaining it as we fulfill 2 objectives. Submission of the clergy. A proposition has been made to restrict the church's authority and the right to formulate laws regarding church affairs without the king or queen's consent. But all centralizing the monarch's power may have benefits, but all separated from the Roman Church. Eek. Since we still rivals with papal states, but stability is good, but... No, I need that. Let the clergy keep its authority. Not a subject nation, owns all South Slavic provinces. So hopefully we'll get all of Bulgaria, and then subsequently, annex Bulgaria in, integrate Bulgaria as a whole, which will take a while, despite the low development of the country. And then we will complete that goal, and Croatia will have a golden era for the first time. Yeah, it'll do. I think we got time for one more building. Oh, it's finished. Mothball that. That's what gives on that maintenance deal. Now, where was I? I plan on building one more building. I mean, my idea was to build one in Dubrovnik, but we're about to inherit this fort, so... Probably just have it for keep, simply for the sake of it, until I will put it somewhere like Kosovo. But that'll be after the Austrian conflict. So, yes, all of these. Barracks will go up and be finished in a year's time. So we'll have a little more of that manpower. This again. You forgot to upgrade those galleys again, but don't worry about it. Once we raise all that money again, we'll be fine. Bringing France in as an ally would be a huge benefit in terms of dealing with England, but there's a truce with them in England and Austria. In July. In July, France finishes their truce with Austria. A month later, Poland. Improvements in production technology. There are reports of farmers and miners being more productive than the local Zupans expect them to be. We should investigate. There's something for the entire nation of Croatia could benefit from. As possible. Spare no expense. And we'll deal with this inflation issue for some time later. Especially when Kosovo comes to Croatia. Finally, that craven sultan of theirs, Padishah, excuse me. Free thinker. Wish I was a free thinker. "23 years old, still prime of his life. So his armies will fight more effectively now. But he's not in the middle of a war. But they're drilling, so there's no indication of any movements on who to declare war next. I originally feared it might be the Mamluks. Akkonulu is quiet right now. Just give me one more year. And we got him. The French ruler is kind-hearted. Well, Anne de Lorraine. Kind-hearted. Be more likely to join the alliance. We were enemies once, but now we're going to be best of friends. This is because of England and Austria. We got enough favors from Genoa, but it won't be enough for them to join, but because of attitude towards enemies. What enemies? Do you fear the others? Is that what you mean by that? Oh, it's because they're... Austria's approving Genoa's relation. I think they're trying to prevent them from joining that war. Very well. But we still have the Ottomans and we still have Poland. If Poland is going to commit, it will. Once we tell them to prepare for war. They'll keep. But we'll slowly gain favors to them over time, so get the alliance with the French. England isn't going to be happy about this, and neither is Austria. Never thought we would see today that Croatia and France be best friends after the hellacious one we've gone through. France won't commit because favors and truce. It might work. Very well then, let's begin. So I guess it won't be next year for the war. Hang on. Oh yes, and a royal marriage too. Let's not forget. Acceptance of all is the road to progress. The petty divisions within our nation have long retarded our development. Since opening up administration of all talented citizens, we have noticed great achievements in the development of local economies. Tolerance may make us rich. Indeed. We don't have any favors to them right now, but it's going to take a while to get them up. So, if not the Ottomans, then yes, the French. So we found a new alternate ally. Hope you don't have any issues with that, allying with France. Of course, the more we take these territories away, especially the Bulgarian lands from them, the more they will dislike it, but we have this, and coming soon with this. And one more idea will be coming right up for more administrative tech. Hey, stopped. Who do they have against besides us? Lithuania. Trade dispute. Okay, trade dispute, but conquest or conquest. Mamluks. If you're fighting the Mamluks, well, you're expecting a bunch to go up against you. Friends with Akkonulu, so they can't take on Kandar. Actually, they don't know what to do with themselves. I wouldn't be surprised that I would be forced in another one of their silly wars. But if that's to be the case, we have France as an alternative big ally, in addition to Poland, in case they aren't available. While we'll continue to build up currying favors, and we'll start using those favors for Bulgarian lands to return. And of course we inherit this army and stand right next to it, even though it's not going to be as drilled, but as it's all infantry. Basically reservists. And we'll have more manpower reserve, as we've learned our lessons from the past. Muscovy. Conquest. You're at war with two countries. Kazan. Oh, they're in the middle of it. You are fighting against Muscovy, Yaroslav, Perm, Nizhny Novgorod, and Circassia. I hope you can handle all that. The First Russo-Turkish War. You know what? Good riddance to them. So, Ottomans aren't available. So, guess the war will be delayed. What are you doing? Verden. Oh, it's Brandenburg. Verden, Cologne, Bremen, Hamburg, 3. Trade. Well, we know who's winning that war. Well, I guess it's you, France. It's all up to you now to help us out. So, yeah, it'll be delayed. So, get Serbia. Core everything. Which, of course, we'll be spending that again. Core all but these two. Thank you very much. Vive la France. I don't know what is France in Croatian language. The name of France in Papal States to Papal Control again. So they went with secret confessions for the Council of Trent. Well, Serbia is now integrated. When a smaller country gives up its independence to join the greater realm, there's a lot of adapting. While some parts are easy, administration of the realm will still need to expand to accommodate all possibilities. Yeah. We'll get you soon. Thank you. Move up. Bosnia. Serbian army. Fully drilled. Surprisingly. Don't make Albania to a state. Neither do Macedonia. We already have these two as a state long ago. Serbia and Russia. Well, we don't have to core it. Oh, never mind, I forgot. Habit. Now here's the big one. Bulgaria. You are hereby released. Orthodox Bulgarian. Just like that. Now, let's begin negotiations here now. As soon as the diplomat returns. Well, once you're done with your war, of course. Got plenty of time for this. But don't make Albania a state until we start integrating with them, which of course it'll take more time, and it's not timed yet. We just need to improve relations with them first. Yes, I have a core. Wish I could sell that province to you, or better yet, return this to Albania, but I would lose prestige. Ah. We'll make it up to it. Don't you worry. What does? So yeah, we freed up a diplomat now. So all I need is France. France to come in just to fend off the English. Genoa's not coming. I mean, the diplomatic reputation of recently annexing the nation doesn't help, but... Find out well, we can wait, because these claims ain't gonna go away anytime soon, so we'll be fine. Join the Navy. Textile manufacturing. Oh, don't you worry about that. We'll be getting that soon. As soon as we get this. Oh, and mothball that fort too. Got blasted. And when the Austrian conflict is over, I'm gonna remove this castle and build one in Kosovo. Just to mark it as a border. Until we integrate Bulgaria eventually. In a long run. What's the religious unity like? It's fine. It's over 100%. As long as over 100% you're fine. Leave the Orthodox alone. Now we have gold. So that's 1.80 gold a month for this production now that we now have. But unfortunately, this also increases inflation. 0.1% a year. May not look like much, but trust me, it's going to be a hindrance. At a much later time. Of course. Truce with Austria is about to end. Our armies reach a new level of professionalism. May build supply depots. Oh, that means... now that we have the gold... State farm regiments. While the technology is still in its infancy, firearms can be a deadly force on any battlefield. In order to be efficient, however, firearms require regular training and a steady supply of ammunition. For a regular levy army at this level of efficiency, it could be hard to maintain. A soldier that has to go home to tend to his fields is not one that will regularly exercise with his weapon. While we cannot change our entire army structure in one stroke, we can ensure that a corps of highly trained, salaried troops specialize in these weapons. So elite regiments for the rest of this playthrough. Yes, the land maintenance goes up quite a bit, but the army Joe gain modifier will be big beneficial, so it'll be easier to train them bit by bit. And if you want to, at any given time, you can abolish it. If the expenses are too much for you. But it's maintainable. Not yet for France. We need more favors from them. And we'll get them. If we can get France in, that's a big difference maker. In case either the Ottomans or Poland isn't available. Even though we'll have little support from Albania and Bulgaria. Actually, we can use the favors with Poland to prepare for war, and they will join, so... But I still need France to come in. Because we fear the English fleet. They're not at war right now, but... I mean, France could definitely defeat them. So again, we'll continue with the war preparations and whatnot. And of course, you gotta have a lot of money to maintain. When we take these areas. And all that and more. What's the land force limit now? Now that we have Serbia. Nearly full. This needs a bit of cavalry. If we want to increase the size of the forces. But that's what the land force limit is for. But I'm more interested in manpower reserves than with the actual size of the force. Since we have very powerful allies. And that's what we, have. You did your part. Of course, when the Turks are done with the Muscovite forces, I just had to scroll these so I can remember their nationality names. These Muscovite forces, which they aren't winning right now, for now, as they're taking it to them early on, but they'll be there shortly. So all I need now is for Poland to... It's for Brandenburg, I should say, to finish their war. They're over there. Verden is fully occupied, but now it's their other allies that needs to be taken care of. And once that's done, then it's all good, but... Okay, here's the plan. 1. Tell Poland to prepare for war. 2. Keep currying favors with France so much that they'll join us and we will crush them. Slovenia will go to Croatia, or Carniola, whatever called. Keep calling it Slovenia out of habit for modern Yugoslav sense. And then when the Ottomans finish their war, win, lose, or draw, they must return the Bulgarian lands to Bulgaria, our newest subject. And after the Austrian War, we'll begin integrating Albania. While we will continue to curry favors to get as much Bulgarian land as possible until the Ottomans say, we can't work this relationship anymore because of what you've been doing. We have claims in these areas, and what are you doing this to us? And when that happens, then I will have a permanent claim on the entire Balkans, thus beginning what the 1600s could look like with the Europe against the Ottomans, to drive them out of the Balkans, send them back to Anatolia and whatnot. That's another major goal I've set, but sometimes I'm a bit ambitious. So do not start the war. Our policy of encouraging innovation and free thinking has led our people taking a more relaxed attitude to the state religion. Well, Kosovo isn't a well-developed area, so just let them. It's still Orthodox. I could care less about what's going on over there, despite the lack of buildings and all that and development, as long as it produces gold from its mines. your attitude towards Austria is very unbecoming of you. It's because of that you won't join us. Oh, you're finished? Oh no, you're still fighting another one. Don't forget to tell them to prepare for war. Once we get favors from France as well, just to fend off the English. Else. Unpause, dummy. Thought I did. Just get one more of this and then it'll be very beneficial to get far ahead of time on administrative technology, thanks to Croatian Renaissance. Now they're in the front line, while Muscovite troops are in Bulgarian territory that's controlled by the Ottomans. This may spell trouble for them. Very well. So, we figured out our plan, Just get Poland in here, even though they're in another war, so you better go ask them right now. Although Poland is at war, that makes it problematic. France continues to drill, but it seems they are likely to fight against England. But as now with these 10 favors, the Ottomans won't help us. But promise Poland, and they'll be with us. Instead of asking them to prepare for war. Genoa won't be there, neither will Tuscany. But the Ottomans will come assist us at a later time if they ever come out on top. So I think we're going to be in for a mostly defensive war. That's what we'd be expecting. We're also getting pretty close to get our musketeers. So, I don't know. Although you are winning this war right now, but you can occupy more of this and then they'll come save us. And do not forget there's more forces from all these areas. And Brandenburg will soon wrap up all this war if they could take them all on. But I think that we will be on the defense in the most part. They got plenty of manpower, but it's not a lot compared to ours. But to me, the real difference maker is France. You got until spring. I'll give you 2 months, then stop drilling. Get in position. We head to Istria. Trying to buy time. to Rijeka. We don't have the best general, and we don't know what kind of generals they have up there. France is still drilling. They got musketeers. And hopefully soon for us. Gold rush! Our miners hit a massive deposit of gold. Massive amounts of money are flowing into the treasury. Oh my. We're rich. Again, with these newly acquired Serbian lands, and you haven't built much of churches. But every little bit of that taxation can be good. So just these three. I'll probably include one more building. Let me see. Thinking. I could see that happen in Russia. We struck gold here, but of course the drawback is that gains more inflation, you dummy. Until the morale is full, declare war. Bring Poland. And then eventually, Raska gets heresy. And then eventually, we will have France to come with us. And if they're unavailable, then the Ottomans. They're mobilizing. They are moving towards England. I think they want Bordeaux back. I don't want to be drawn into a French conflict knowing that England is allied with Austria, Thramond, which is one of the Irish kingdoms, Castile and Portugal especially. Castile doesn't have much manpower, neither does Portugal. Advantage France. And soon we'll declare our own war against Austria to prevent them from joining England. As England would probably get caught up in two kinds of wars, that one of which is too far away for them to take part of and have no right to be there. I would hate to fight Castile and Portugal, as we never fired at them in anger and all that. So, unfortunately, during the course of the war, the new musketeers are going to have to wait. That'll be for after the Austrian war. You done yet? Can't tell them to prepare for war. Neither we can tell France we don't have enough favors. Genoa won't be there. Neither will Tuscany. Ottomans are too busy with another war, but they'll join once their war with Muscovy ends. Hopefully on the winning side of it. And I'm saying that with smiling confidence on my face. They've stopped drilling. They are ready for war. Start that war. But that will be for the next episode. I'm actually going to cut this episode short. We will dedicate all this time. You know, it seems like the timing is right. We have to promise Poland some territory, like around here or there. Any part. Knowing that I will get these three and give Poland a few. Because that's part of the commitment now. The Ottomans will be there later. And those new musketeers will have to wait. Full morale and nearly fully drilled. May build supply depots, but if you keep going further, may refill garrison. Conscription army. Regain manpower and spending. All that I could see. I mean, it's too late to consider getting a new general because we're so close of getting those musketeers where we would have them outclassed. But that's only if we keep the Austrians at bay, while we will refit those units. It's probably going to happen during the war when the front is stabilized and all that. So that's what we're going to do. Take those territories, retreat into Bosnia, make them come over here. Or into Zagreb or whatever. And as for their navy's inferior, but you may want to bring them back during this course. So in the next episode, a war with Austria begins, and based on the French movements, they will soon declare war against England. England will not be a problem. It'll just be us and Austria, Poland, Lithuania, Moldavia, against all of Austria. But of course, and they take equality ideas. That's not good in the sense of fighting against them, but they haven't picked up any yet. Quality combined with morale of armies would be a big difference. So, as we said in the next episode, conquer Carniola. And we will have it. And therefore we have our own Slovenia. And be happy to have it as part of our Yugoslav kingdom of Croatia. And then subsequently, as curry favors with the Ottomans continue to make a little bit more gains, then we'll see Bulgaria make a comeback for a subject. We'll receive little assistance from Albania and Bulgaria to bolster our forces, so they'll be willing to help us on this front. So all we need to do is to beat the heck out of the Austrians. It'll be difficult. This will not be easy. They have an excellent army. Well, remember, we defeated the French before, because their morale of armies was 20. Theirs is 10. Tolerant. Not a military person. So this is our big chance. Soon we will liberate the Slovene people. Well, one thing's for certain. They're going to become an accepted culture. Possibly Albanian too when we integrate them as well. And in the future for these decisions with these multilingual diplomats, possibly Bulgarians too, far in the future. So we hope you'll join us in the next episode because it's the big one. But until then, so long for now.